Hey everybody, it's Jen from Jen Plans, and I am setting up my 2020 personal finance budget planner. This is the deluxe monthly planner from Erin Condren, and I have a full review of this planner, like kind of a flip through of it in a separate video I've linked in the description if you want to watch just a general review of the planner. So I'm not going to flip through and show you everything before I jump in. I'm just going to jump in and start setting it up. And I use this planner basically as a catch-all for all things budgeting and finance. It's not just to keep track of bills, it's to kind of keep track of our family's entire financial situation. So I'm gonna just start in the beginning and walk you through how I'm gonna set it up for this year. So first, on the inside of any Erin Condren planner, whether it's the Deluxe Monthly or the Life Planner or just a notebook, there is a laminated removable cover on the front and back. And you can use a wet erase. I think most people use a wet erase if they're gonna change it. You can also use a Sharpie, and then if you want to like take the Sharpie off, you can just use an alcohol swab, it'll come right off, or you can write over it with a wet erase marker, the same thing, the alcohol in it will erase it. So I'm gonna write 2020 goals. And I really like keeping our overall goals for the year in the front of the planner so that I can see it every time I open it. So I'll go back and add those once I make them. This is just a setup. I haven't actually, some things I haven't all done all the way yet. So my husband and I need to sit down and kind of do our big plan for the year. But once we do, our overall 2020 goals will go here. And the next page that I set up is always the year at a glance. And so I do the sinking funds. Since this is just a 12-month planner, I always cover up the first 6 months on this page, and I start with January 2020. So I grabbed just a sheet of sticker paper. If you don't have sticker paper, you can just use regular paper and tape or glue, a glue stick or an adhesive roller to cover it up. I just happen to have sticker paper, so I'm gonna cut it to the size of this and cover it, and then I'm gonna use this as my key for the sinking funds. Now, if it bothers you to kind of see through a little bit, you can always do a second layer. It doesn't bother me that much. I know some people it really bothers. I'm just gonna start putting my key on here, and this is what it will look like when it's done. This is my year at a glance from last year. I also have several videos on a deeper explanation of sinking funds that I have posted in the description of the video if you want to learn more about how this works. The too long didn't read version is we set aside money every month for these things that are not due every month. So some of these things are due every 6 months, some of them are due annually. We set aside money every month and then we pay them when there are dots. So for example, our security system is paid quarterly, March, June, September, and December. But we take the amount that's due, so this month we've started saving already. So for the amount that's due in March, we divide this by 3, that's how many months we have to save, and then we pay it in March. So instead of coming up with the money for all of these things happening in March, we kind of have some heavy months with some of these expenses. We set aside a little bit every month and then pay them when they need to be paid. So that's the short version, but this is how I keep track of when everything needs to be paid. So I love going back. Sometimes we don't always get a bill, sometimes they go to electronic billing and I just want to make sure I'm always paying things that I'm supposed to be paying and that I have enough money to pay them when they come due. So like I said, a deeper explanation of sinking funds I have in other videos that I've linked, but this is how I keep track of them. So I'm going to set that part up now. Also, these dots are my favorite dots to use in here. I use them from Krissyanne Designs. This particular set doesn't come with these colors. I had to request this as a custom order. So if she's taking custom orders, I just requested if you want to order the same thing. I just ordered the small transparent dots, which I've also linked in the description of the video. And then in the notes section, I wrote, please do every row in a different color. And I didn't tell her what colors to pick, she just did them. So I love that you can customize these if she's still doing custom orders. So these are the little transparent circles. Like I said, I linked them below, but I just use a different color for everything. So I might need to change it up because some of these things, like I think our water is every other month and I don't have enough for that. So I'm gonna change some of the colors, but this is gonna be the general setup. have other sinking funds, but these are the ones that have like set dates. So I'll go through the rest of the sinking funds when I get to that part in the monthly layout. But now I'm just gonna mark which dates these things occur. Okay, so now all of my sinking funds are ready for the year. I moved some of them around, and I usually keep this, I don't change them once they're there, but I do keep this in the back pocket just in case, and just to kind of hold on to it for next year. So now my sinking funds overview is done, so I'll move on to this spread. Last year I had this box be every month, which I think I'm still gonna do, except last year I used it as kind of like big things happening each month that I needed to kind of not specifically save for, but to keep in mind that big things were coming up that were like a one-time thing. So like we were traveling to a couple of weddings and we had like a baby shower to go to, so things like that I wanted to make sure, like we have our sinking funds categories, but these are the things that are coming up that I know I have to pay for specifically around those times, like for travel or gifts. But this year, we don't have a lot of that going on, and I found that I did better if I put those in the notes sections specific to each month rather than here. So I think instead of using this to plan things out, I'm gonna use it to track, and I think I'm gonna use it to track our mortgage payoff because that's kind of what we're focused on this year. So I'm going to still label these monthly, but it's just gonna be used for something else. So I think for this one, I'm gonna use, I think I might actually use the stickers from the Krissyanne Designs Celebrations collection. This binder is only released a couple times per year. It's actually for, I think today and tomorrow. I think it's through the 31st of December for this first round. So if you're watching this after December 31st, sales have probably closed. You can still find out by joining her email list. But there's a page in here. This is just, it's kind of stickers you can use through the whole year. I have another video on this that you can watch as well. But I'm gonna use the stickers that are the Hello month, these. And I'm just gonna put these at the top of each section. Actually, I don't know if I'm gonna use this for mortgage payoff because I do have a separate spread in the notes section that I kind of keep a running tally. So I'm gonna come back to this, but either way, I'm gonna use it for something that's month specific. It'll probably just be tracking though instead of planning, because when I'm planning, I find myself not flipping to this spread and I don't wanna miss anything that I need to do the planning for the month. And then I'm gonna go through and set up the month. Now this planner is a little bit different because of this spread. So in last year's planner, there were just 4 notes pages before each monthly layout. I'm also gonna go ahead and set up my January because I need to do that anyway, and I can show you how I set up like the monthly view for each particular month, and I do that prior to each month. I'm gonna walk you through a setup for prepping for a month, and then I'll finish out the rest of the months. This is the monthly sticker book from Erin Condren. I'm gonna be using this a little bit here and there. You can use the stickers in the back, but I like using these because they coordinate with the colors of the month. I'm already making a change. This one is for birthdays. If you're using this as a regular planner, that's fine. I don't need to keep track of birthdays in my finance planner, so I'm gonna use this section just as general notes. Set a couple of goals just specific to this month. Every month this year, I'll have this one, put extra toward the mortgage. It's a different amount every single month for our family because our pay is variable. So that amount changes every month. So I won't put a specific amount there. I need to update a couple things with our insurance policy. And then I also need to talk to the city about property taxes because we've got some goofy stuff in our property taxes. And then these, like I said, are sinking funds that are due this month. It's just one, it's car insurance. And then this I used for notes. And so something that I would put here, for example, is if I need a reimbursement for something for work, or if I like overspent in a category and I pulled it out of a different category, I would note it all here. Or if we had a new category added, or if I changed the amount for a sinking fund that we've had like a certain amount, but then we changed it because something new came up. I would put that in my notes because I really like going back and seeing when things changed. So that's what I'll put in this note section. And then I haven't decided yet what I'm going to use down here for. So I'll keep you posted on that. But this is going to be kind of my monthly overview for each month. And so I'll go through and just set up like this part so that it's ready for each of the other months. I just need to interject for a second and say that months like these, where we have all of these things due, before we were budgeting, would really, really mess us up, because we would kind of know that all these things would come up. And if it was a regular month where it was just one or two of them, we could probably swing it. But most of the time, at least for us, this was our situation. We had like, this is way before we were keeping track of anything. We had several months where we'd have more money than we had bills. And so we would say, oh, we have more money than we have bills, and we would spend it. And then we'd have a month like this come up, and the difference between like our bills and all the money that we had wouldn't always cover all of this. And so then we'd panic, which is really just silly, because it's not like any of these are a surprise. Like, we signed up for the pest control, we have Amazon Prime, we signed up for the security, we obviously know we have an HOA, and we have to pay garbage every quarter. So it's not like we didn't know they were coming, but this just helps us so much to plan for what's coming up, so that when these months happen, where like January there's one thing, in March there's a ton of stuff, we aren't kind of hit in the side. We know exactly what's coming. So I just had to interject and say that. Just another plug for sinking funds. And like I said, I have a couple of other videos linked below if you want to learn more about that process. But this has been so helpful to us that I always like talking about it in case you have not heard of them before, or you don't do anything like this. I really highly recommend it. It will change the way that you manage your money for your family or yourself. So I'll get back to the rest of them now. So I'm done with all my like monthly prep pages. So we have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. So these are the monthly prep pages. Those are done. And now I'm gonna go through and prep. I guess I'll do the whole month of January. I made these a long time ago, years ago, because I wanted a sticker that fit in the monthly box that I could put like what the thing was, how much it was, and then check it off when it's paid. So I usually put them in the beginning of the month, and then I check them off as I pay them. And if the amount is like not a set amount, like if it's our gas bill or our electric bill, I'll wait to put in the amount until the bill happens. But if it's not, I'll just put the amount in as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these in. I love looking at my month and seeing like, when are all my big expenses coming out and when am I getting paid? So that's what I'm gonna set up now. Also, I have these available for free as a download in my budget group, which I've linked in the description of the video as well. I just made them and I cut them with my Silhouette. So I have the files in my group as a free download. There's one sticker seller who sells them that I have asked to sell them for people who don't have a sticker machine or who just don't want to make them, and that's Krissyanne from Krissyanne Design. So I'll link this particular setup. So I'll link this sticker set to her shop as well in the description if you, I don't know, if you want to set yours up this way. I have found for me, this is the easiest way for me to see like all of my monthly bills all in one place. I forgot to add the colors. So green is income, blue is extra that we're putting toward something. So when we were in debt payoff mode, this was extra that we were paying toward like student loans or other debts. Now we're using this as extra toward our mortgage. So these are like expenses that are not auto drafted that I have to pay in the pink. And then purple is everything that's set on an auto draft. These are all expenses. This is income, and this is extra that we've decided to pay towards something. So I'll put like, you know, the pink sticker for like mortgage and then our regular mortgage amount. And then if I pay extra toward the mortgage that month, I'll put this sticker right below it and I'll write mortgage extra and I'll put the amount extra that we paid to the principal. So it's just a nice way to see everything all at once. So that's kind of my color coding system. So this is my completed month kind of at a glance. So like I said, the green is income, and then I keep a tally here of all of our income for the month. And then pink is anything I need to physically pay or take out. So like every Saturday I go take out cash for groceries and spending money and dining out money. Purple is everything that auto deducts. So I just check it off when it clears in my account. Blue is the extra that I'll pay to the mortgage. So that's due the first. I usually like to pay it a week before it's due. But if it's due on a Saturday, I'll just pay it that Monday. So this is kind of the month. So I do this every single month before every month. And if you're not doing something like this, it's really difficult to have an understanding of your cash flow, at least in my experience. I don't know, maybe some people can do it. I can't do it without looking at it. So or somewhere electronically, you know, it doesn't really matter how, but I just have found that I have a much better control over our finances when I know what our cash flow kind of looks like for the month. So this is the monthly overview, and now I'm gonna show you kind of how I set up the rest of the month. I have kind of my general goals and everything, and then I have when everything's due, and then I use the next 2 pages to keep track of bills. Actually, I might put bills. I haven't decided how to use this page yet, but I have like usually a running list of bills. I think I'm gonna do that the way I did it last year, which is I'll take this whole page and use for monthly sinking funds, and then I'll put bills here, and then I track money coming out on this spread. So I'll do that now. This is a full list of our sinking funds that we save for every single month. So I won't spend a lot of time on this, but I do want to just explain how this particular page works and what we save for. Every month, we have a certain amount of money that we contribute, well, we put it in this one, that we contribute to each of these categories. So we have a secondary checking account, we have like a main checking account that we pay all our bills from. I total up what we add to these categories each month here, and then I transfer, like we get paid, I transfer this amount to the second checking account so that we have like a pot of sinking fund money there for things that we've set aside. So that's the money that we've set aside, and I keep track of it here. So Amazon Prime, we pay annually. So I save, you know, and it doesn't have to be a lot. It's like, you know, $10 a month that I set aside. And so a little bit at a time, you might think like, oh, I can come up with $10 in a month. Well, I can too, but when you add in all of these things that we're saving for, it adds up to a lot. So I just like to keep track of it. So Amazon Prime, car insurance, we pay every 6 months to take advantage of like a prepayment savings. So I just take the total amount that we pay every 6 months and I divide it by 6, and then I just set that aside every month. So that's what we contribute for car insurance. Car maintenance, Christmas, you know, it's right now, it's the end of December. I'm thinking about Christmas next year. We set aside a little bit of money every month for Christmas for the following year, and it's so much better than charging everything and paying it off over the year. I love knowing that each Christmas time, when we go to buy gifts and order cards and do pictures and all the things that come with Christmas time, that we already have the money for it. We don't have to stress out about it. So it doesn't, like I said, none of this has to be a lot, but just that you're thinking about it, at least for us. So Christmas, clothes for the kids, clothes for us. And again, sometimes I don't need to spend this money every month, but then everybody needs new coats and new shoes and new pajamas and new whatever, kind of all at the same time. So I like knowing that I have a little bit set aside to spend on clothes for the kids and for us. Dental, dry cleaning, family pictures, garbage, gifts, our giving. This is different than our, like we give to our church every month, but then we also have money that we give to like charities and like other small things. Hair and skin, like haircuts and stuff. HOA, which is quarterly. Home maintenance. You know, we own a house. We're going to have to, like this year we had to replace a dishwasher. Last year we had to replace, I don't even know what we replaced, the HVAC system, but this is where we save money for our house so that when things like that come up, we already have the money set aside. We don't have to dip into our emergency fund. These are normal costs of home ownership, so we plan for them. Kids activities, this is like, you know, sign up for the baseball season. It's, you know, a couple $100 to register. And so, you know, instead of scrambling, we have money kind of sitting in that account waiting to be used for kids activities. Kids' birthday parties. Again, not a ton set aside, but I want to know that if our kid has a birthday party that we can, you know, pay for all the stuff and not have to worry about that. Medical, pet, school extras. School extras is huge. These are like school pictures and field trips and Scholastic and all that stuff. Security, that's a system for our house. We pay quarterly. Travel. We used to have family, a lot of family that lived out of town, and so we would travel a lot, and so we would set aside money so that we had it. Vision, these are basically, this is for my contacts. I should get LASIK. But anyway, for now, this is for contacts. Water, our water sewer is paid every other month, and then total. So in terms of how it works per month, this is usually the same every month, unless one of these amounts changes, which is very seldom, but unless one of these amounts changes, this column is the same every month. We had $10 to Amazon Prime. We had, you know, whatever our 6-month thing divided by 6 is to the car insurance every month. Car maintenance, we put in $200 a month because we each have a car. We know that roughly, you know, between the little stuff and the big stuff like the tires and the whatever, so we set aside that much. So we put everything that we save per category goes in this category, which is the plus sign. We add to that category every month. And then the start is what we go into the month with. So I already know right now that our Amazon Prime balance is $81. Actually, not true. It's $91. So I'll put 91 here. I'm going to add $10. It's not due until March, so I'm not taking any out of it this month, which means at the end of the month, I should have $101 set aside for Amazon Prime. So that's what it looks like, except all filled in. And then if I have a month like, so our car insurance is due in January. So I have like a pretty good chunk that I'm starting the month with. I'm going to add, you know, our last, because we'll get paid before that's due. So I'll add our last kind of 6-month, you know, 1 month installment here. This is going to be the amount that I'll pay for car insurance. And then this balance should end back at 0 by the end of January because I have what I went into the month with plus what I added minus the amount that I paid. You know, I mean, this is just like a general checkbook register. You guys all know how math works. You know, I won't spend a lot of time explaining how it works, but I did want to show you how I keep track of it. So like I said, all of this is sitting in a separate account that I use to pay for sinking funds. So that's how I set up my sinking funds, like kind of overview. And then this I'm going to use for bills that I pay. So these are the bills we pay every month. Yes, it's a teeny tiny bit redundant since I keep track of it in the calendar, but I really have learned that I like seeing it all here so I can see like at a quick glance what I've paid and what I haven't paid. So we have obviously like our living expenses, mortgage, electric, gas, internet, health insurance, piano for the kids, lawn treatment and lawn maintenance, cleaning, subscriptions. This is like Netflix and like our media storage or whatever, and then dance. So these are our monthly bills. That is our kind of sinking funds list. So when I see this, I wonder like, what did I do before? I wasn't keeping track of any of this. It was so haphazard and I just didn't really have much control at all. So I love setting it up and then having it for the whole year that I can just kind of, you know, chug along. And it really, truly has helped us reach so many financial goals. Like, will you be okay if you don't do all of this stuff? Maybe, I don't know, most people are struggling financially, but for us, I know that we might not be doing the best that we possibly could be doing, But gosh, we're really, really, really trying hard, and we're way better than we would be if we didn't keep track at least, or be aware of, you know, what was going on with our money. This is sinking funds layout, bills, and then the next 2 pages are where I track, like, so let's say it's time to spend, you know, some money. So we have a major car repair, we need new tires. So I keep a log each month. It usually doesn't take both pages. It seems overwhelming. It's not, but I usually go through every couple days and just catch up, you know, what I have spent from where, so that at the end of the month I can note it here and know what I'm ending the month with to carry over to the February start column. So this end column becomes the next month's start column. So I'll show you how I lay that out. And that's it. It's pretty easy. You know, like January 2nd, new tires, however much they were. That's it. And that's kind of like the big stuff for each month. I have this set up. This will be, I don't know what I'm gonna use that for yet. Don't know what I'm gonna use that for yet. This is monthly overview, monthly layout, overview of sinking funds and bills, and then where I track outgoing sinking funds. And so I'll repeat that. I'm not going to do it on the video, but I'll repeat that for every month through the end of the year. And then we jump to the notes section. So last year I used a couple pages in my notes section for quotes. I really like, I don't know, it's fun to kind of look at these. So instead of, as much as I love rewriting them every year, instead of rewriting them, I'm gonna take a pair of craft scissors and I'm just gonna snip. I used these scissors to cut Sam Kerr's hair in a hotel room once. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I'm gonna just snip these out and lay them into the new one instead of rewriting them. And then the next page is 2019 goals. So I update this every once in a while. So I added all my goals. I'm gonna do another one for 2020. But I'm really proud of myself because we did a good amount of them. We increased 401k contributions, we cut cable, which was awesome. We automated our kids' college contributions. So instead of like me picking an amount, we like set an amount and just have that on auto. We have a plan to pay off our mortgage quickly. I've been doing our tax prep quarterly, and then I remade our budget at one point with some updated numbers. So I'm really proud of us. I'm gonna make a new 2020 goals list. I'm leaving this one in here, and I like keeping that in there. So I'll snip these out. It's really easy, I'll show you. Yes, these are perforated, and I probably could have just ripped them out and taped them in, but that's okay. As long as I don't pull on them that hard, they should, I mean, they're in there, you know, they're in there all right. So like I said, I just use craft scissors. I'll link those as well in the description. These are my favorite craft scissors. So I'm gonna do my goals next. And then I'll go through and my husband and I set those and kind of fill it out. My next page, I'm gonna keep track of our income. So I'll do like every month, and then I'll do like a monthly, like what that monthly total was, and then year to date. And I think I've mentioned this before, but we get paid, our pay is variable. So it's not the same every month. So I like to keep track so that I can look for patterns and kind of see how we were doing for the year. If we have certain income goals, we can really easily check to see if we're meeting them or if we're behind, or, you know, what's going on with our income. So I like to keep track of it here. So this is this page. It's pretty simple, just monthly income and then year to date. But like I said, I really like keeping track of it because it helps to see if we're on track to meet our goals. This I'm gonna do a little differently than I've done in years past. Like, we weren't really aggressive with our savings until this past year. And now that we are, I just wanna see like where we are in the beginning of the year versus where we are at the end of the year, because sometimes for perspective, it feels like you're just kind of like inching along. But when you look at everything like a year at a time, you can really see your progress, and it's motivating. So I'm gonna do our starting like retirement savings balance and kids college balance, and then I'll log it again at the end of the year. So this is it. Like I said, nothing too fancy. It's just kind of cool to see it all in one place. And let me add, if you're already saving for retirement and or your kids' college, that's awesome for you. If you're not, and this feels like an overwhelming thing to be thinking about, I would really encourage you to just start. If you haven't started, start small. Even if you only do a teeny tiny little bit, depending on where you are in your finance journey, it's really, really important to be thinking ahead about these things. And maybe you can't do them yet. Maybe you're still like in mega debt payoff mode, and that's okay too. But let this be a motivation and not something to discourage you. I really, really believe that with a little bit of hard work, everybody can get there. We certainly weren't doing this for a while. And so I know that when I used to see stuff like this and I wasn't there yet, it was discouraging. But I tried really hard to not be discouraged and to think of it as motivation. So if you're not here yet, please don't be discouraged. Work really hard to get here. I promise it's worth it and you'll get there. It's really, really important just to have the right mindset. So try not to be discouraged. If you're already doing this, that's so great. I'm really excited when I see people doing this, but I just really wanted to say that for the folks who might not be there yet, it's okay. It's okay, just go a little bit at a time and you'll get there. Okay, this next one is gonna be my mortgage payoff page, and this is the one I was most excited about last year. So I'll show you, I'm just gonna totally recreate it to use for 2020, but I wanna show you how I set it up because it was really motivating to kind of track throughout the year. This is a budget sticker sheet from Erin Condren, and this is what I'll use to set up most of this page. So here it is. This is our mortgage payoff page. If you're in debt repayment mode, like for student loans or credit cards or whatever, this would be also like a great debt payoff tracker really for anything. Or if you're past that and you're doing savings goals, this is a great way to track, like maybe you're motivated if you track savings goals. So I like using it for us for right now for mortgage payoff. So I'll put like our starting mortgage balance for 2020. And then these are all gonna be extra payments that we've made toward principal by month. So January, February, March, and then I put a little check here when I've paid like the extra, and then quarter one total. So I can see like in the first quarter, how much extra did I pay toward the mortgage, and then I'll do it for second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And then at the end of the year, I'll total everything extra that we paid toward the mortgage principal balance, like for the whole year, and then the ending balance. So it's really, really exciting to look at it and see like what it started at and what it's ending at. I can't wait to use this throughout the year. So this is our mortgage payoff page. And then last year I used some of the other pages, like I titled them like car maintenance and home maintenance, and I just never really used them, to be totally honest with you. So I'm not gonna do that this year. I'll use the rest of the notes pages back here, which is the great thing that I love about this particular planner. I'll use the rest of the notes pages for like working pages every month if I need to like crunch numbers or something. But this is it. This is my whole setup for my planner for 2020. So I'll do a really quick flip through because I know you've seen pretty much everything. But we'll put all of our goals here. We'll use this page for our kind of sinking funds at a glance. Haven't decided yet. Oops, wait, did I skip one? This, I think I'm gonna use, I don't know what I'm gonna use this for. I thought maybe mortgage payoff tracking, but maybe something else. So I'll get back to you. I'll keep you posted. Don't know what I'm gonna use this page for. I'd rather have too many pages than not enough. This spread is gonna be kind of our monthly goals, things that are due this month, and then notes. My month layout at a glance. This is when everything is happening. So I'll fill this in with numbers when I'm done. And then this is our incoming and outgoing sinking funds for the month of January. These are our bills for the month of January. This is gonna be outgoing sinking funds. So like when I actually spend the money, it goes here. And then at the end of the month, I put the total here, and then I calculate the end amount and carry that over to the next month. And then we're set for February. So then we have February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And then we have the notes. And so I have my quotes and just kind of inspiration. So I might add to those. We have our 2020 goals, our 2020 income, retirement and college savings, and then mortgage payoff. So that's it. Whew, that's everything. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. Like I said, I have a link to other videos that I've done in the description of the video. But yeah, this is kind of how we're going into the year. And I know that for some people this might seem like a lot, but it has really, really helped us. It's really helped us achieve our goals. and I love doing it, and it makes me feel like we're in control because we are. I don't think there's a right or wrong way. I don't think everyone has to do it on paper, but for me, it just really helps, and for our family, it helps. This is my setup. I hope you guys liked it. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to chatting with you guys in the comments. Thanks so much.